This is Weekly Woman by Jubilance for PMS.
So Lilly, welcome to the podcast. We're so excited to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm actually excited to be on this, my first podcast, so this should be fun.
Yay! So exciting. Well, so we kind of start with some more like softball questions. So where are you living now? I know you have, you were in Miami and you were also like between there and North Carolina.
Yeah, so I'm currently in Charlotte. I still do some real estate back in Florida because I keep my license active. And I also have my license here, but I'm currently doing property management in Charlotte.
That's awesome. And like, what do you love about Charlotte?
Honestly, it's so homey. And this is the one thing that Miami is such a transient city. Like I never saw myself settling roots or establishing myself there. And I think like North Carolina feel is just, it's like homey. Like I want to start a family here. I want to buy a house, have a picket fence, and just lay some roots out here.
That's awesome. And when did
in an actual house. In an actual house, though.
Are you in an actual house now?
I am in an apartment right now, but it's a dwelling.
Okay, me too. I'm in New York City, so it will forever be an apartment.
Yeah.
Tiny.
Oh, I love New York. It's so nice out there. I love going like around Christmas time, I guess just because of the light displays and stuff. Oh my gosh. I think I go around Thanksgiving every year almost.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love it here around Christmas time. Like the Rockefeller Center, the tree and everything, ice skating.
Oh, so pretty.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
But you probably didn't get to go last year because of everything.
I didn't go. I still went to New Jersey to visit my family because my sister lives in Jersey. So I usually go for Thanksgiving to spend time with the fam. And then I end up taking my trip to New York City. And yeah, I didn't get to do that last year, but
yeah,
hopefully this year.
Yeah, come on. What have you been up to this year in the pandemic? What have you been doing?
I've been working a lot. Luckily in my line of business, like we're considered essential because it's housing.
Yeah.
So I've been working through it. If anything, I've had more work because of the pandemic. You know, a lot of people are moving because they either can't afford it or they just sold their house because the market's crazy, you know. So I've been super busy with work. And then once things started slowly opening back up, I went to Mexico for my birthday for a vacation. So, but don't tell anyone about that.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Where did you go?
I went to Cancun. I turned 30 this year.
Me too. My God.
So I was like, I need to go on a trip. I need to get out of here. Like, let's go.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I wish I had done a trip. Maybe later. I was a little scared. As like a New Yorker, it was all around.
Have you had COVID at all at any point?
I did actually. I got it at the beginning of everything in like March, April. Did you?
Okay, I did too. I had it in July. And honestly, it was kind of rough for me. I had a lot of the symptoms, like the body aches, I feel like were the worst. Just like feeling tired. And my asthma, since then, my asthma has been horrible.
Oh my God, that's terrible, Lilly. Oh,
but because of that, I'm a little more like, well, let's go to Mexico.
Yeah. Oh man, that sounds so nice. I haven't left anywhere in so long.
Well, you guys were really shut down too.
Yeah, we just lifted the mask mandate. So like on Saturday, I like took off my mask while I was walking through the park. It was really weird.
But isn't it lovely?
Yes. I was like, wow, like people have a smile, people have faces.
I know, it's so crazy. Like luckily here in Charlotte, there's so many like outdoorsy things to do that even during COVID, like you could still go on hikes. A lot of the parks were still open, things like that. So that was nice. Like at least on the weekends, I could still do daytime stuff. Of course, you know, you're wearing your mask and social distancing, but for hiking, it was a great season.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But other than that, everything was really closed down and it was kind of bleak there for a moment. It's like you miss that personal interaction with people. Like I have a real life person next to me. There's skin and bone there.
I know, it's so bizarre because of the mask mandate, and my friends and I just finally got vaccinated and like waited the 2 weeks. Like I touched a friend for the first time on Saturday, like this one friend I hadn't touched for a year. It was so weird.
Yay.
Yes, like we have hands.
I know. It's so crazy. Yeah, I don't even know. This past year was it was definitely one for the books.
Oh yeah. And how
I
is
thought getting married to a stranger would be the peak of weirdness in my lifetime, but I guess not.
Oh my God. Yes. Can you please talk about that? So if anyone doesn't know Lilly, you might have seen her on Married at First Sight, the season 4 in Miami. Can you talk a little bit about that experience?
It was definitely an experience. Yeah, so I want to say I was 25 at the time. They put my age 1 year short on the show because my birthday happened prior, like right in the middle of filming. So at that point they couldn't change my birthday. So everyone was like, oh my gosh, this 24-year-old. I was 25, guys. But my best friend from Houston, she actually put in an application for me, and she was like, you need to try this. They're casting in Miami. I think you should do it. You're always complaining that you can't meet someone and it's hard to date in Miami. And I was like, that sounds kind of far-fetched. And she's like, you just have to try it. Like, what do you have to lose? And I thought about it. I was like, nothing really. Like, what did I have to lose? I was like, nothing. It could be really great or go terribly wrong. And either way, it's just for 6 weeks. So I'm like, it can't be that bad. And then I ended up getting a call from the application she submitted. And then it kind of just kept going from there, like the interview process. Then it's the personality assessment. Now you're meeting with the shrink to see if your psych evaluation comes out good. All of a sudden we found you a match, and I was like, holy crap, okay, I'm getting married.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was a fun ride though. Just the experience itself. Like I learned a lot of life lessons that I carry with me today. So that's a good takeaway that I have from it for sure.
Well, that's good. Yeah. And can you talk a little bit about like meeting your husband at the altar? Like, what was that like? You didn't see him, like you turn around. Did you watch the show before?
No.
Oh, wow.
No. So I didn't know about the existence of this show until my girlfriend, her name is Shell, told me about it. And she's like, just watch it. And I watched the first season. And of course it was Courtney and Jamie in that season. So I was like, oh my gosh, they made it. That's great. I have the chance of it potentially working for me. And then season 2 happened. Or was it 2, I think? Yeah, the second one in New York. And I was like, okay, but I'm still season 4. I was like, if you want to make it work, I think there's a good chance you can make it work. I don't think you can account for the interest of the other person, or what they truly want from the experiment.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about being like filmed all the time? What was that like?
It's weird because you have to, and I'm assuming for podcasts it's kind of similar, like where if they ask you a question, you have to answer with the question in your answer so people know. So it's like how old are you? Hi, what's your name? Or how old are you? I would be like, hi, my name is Lillian. I'm 25 years old or 24 years old, whatever. And then like you kind of get used to answering like that, which is kind of strange. But the cast and the crew, the crew, I guess, they were awesome. Like we became so close. And I still have my wedding album. I'm not even gonna lie. I have it here in my living room. And I still keep it because all of the crew, they signed it in the back and wrote us like all these cute messages and stuff. And you really become close to them. Like we filmed 40 hours a week. So it's basically another full-time job.
Yeah.
So outside of your work schedule, like if you're not working, you're filming.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a lot of pressure for 6 weeks.
It is. It definitely is. And I think it adds on to everything that goes on into the marriages. Like, you also have to account for, not only did you just marry a stranger and you're sleeping with this person in your same bed, you're legally married, but now you also have a crew of maybe 8 people or more, just walking around, moving things, asking you questions, pulling you here, pulling you there. We have a schedule. We got to get this done. Like, it's a lot. It can become a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the wildest story from being on a reality TV show?
A lot of people are going to guess my answer, but I'm going to say it anyways.
Okay.
I think the most wild thing from that whole experience was the fact that my husband lived in a bus.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have anything to top that right there. I think that was probably the most wild thing during that whole time.
Amazing. And are you dating now? Were you dating through COVID? I know it's been like super weird experience this year.
I mean, could you really date through COVID?
Yeah, not really.
Yeah. I really haven't been dating. I started getting back in the dating game not too long ago. I'm on Hinge now.
Cool.
So so we'll see how that works out. Right after my divorce, I wasn't dating a lot, to be honest. I was just kind of like, I'm going to take a pause on this and I'll revisit this later. And I think now I'm ready to revisit that. I kind of had the mommy gene kick in, and I'm like, I want to have a baby. So I'm like, let me start dating again.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I mean, what a year. So
Hey, no one would look sideways if I randomly popped up with the baby. There are a lot of quarantine babies out there.
That's true. Oh, that could be awesome too.
Yeah. I've been having that little mommy itch lately. So I'm like, you know what? I need to, for me to meet someone, I have to start dating. Mm-hmm. And that's where I've been going wrong.
And I think like now with our vaccines and like being vaccinated, we can like go out on the town. And you said like all the hiking trails and everything. Charlotte's open.
Yeah. Oh, Charlotte is definitely open. I mean,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Charlotte is, you wouldn't think there was a pandemic here. Not too long ago. But yeah, now that I can actually meet people in person, it might make it easier for dating. I don't know. I think I've become a little jaded with the whole, even dating through a website, because that's essentially meeting someone random in person. Yeah. So it's like, I've been taking it real easy with the dating side.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Precaution.
Yeah. I met my boyfriend on Tinder, so
it worked.
It happened.
There you go. I have hope for Hinge. Let's see.
I heard that's great.
It's supposed to be the app that's meant to be deleted. So I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna quote these words later on.
Yeah. Come on.
Come on, Hinge, make it work for me.
Yes. And something that we always ask on this podcast is, what is your definition of womanhood?
For me, my definition of womanhood is someone who carries her own, just in general, like emotionally, mentally, and physically. You know, someone who is a go-getter, who says, I want this, and goes for it, and says, I don't need any of the negativity that you're spewing or you're giving me, because I know what I can do and I'm going to get there. Like that for me is just what every woman should embody. Never take no for an answer, just keep going.
Yeah, that's so awesome, Lily. That's very empowering. Go get her. Don't take no for an answer. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there. You know, I moved to the United States by myself from Nicaragua, so I know what it's like. You know, starting from scratch, starting from zero, and you know, getting to where you want to be and where you feel you want to be or you need to be, and just knowing like if you keep going and you have at it, like if you put in the effort, you're gonna get it.
That's amazing, Lily. And do you have any advice for your younger self? Like, what would you tell her?
I was gonna say something, but let's change that one up. I've been able to maintain a nice persona in the midst of my divorce, so let's keep it that way. What would I say to my younger self? I probably should have thought of these beforehand. I like to be a more spur of the moment, see what happens when I get asked the question. Probably to know that it always gets better. Everything, whatever it is, it always gets better.
That's awesome. That's really lovely.
I mean, for all the young girls out there, you know, I get a lot of messages from younger girls that want to get into real estate and want to know what they need to do. You know, just put in the hard work. A lot of people, I know my parents were very high on get a college education. This is the route you have to do to get to where you want to be in life. But there's really no book or map for people. Like you can't just do 1, 2, 3 and get there. Like, you know, there's phases to everything. Just keep trucking on, just put in the effort, go for what you want to do. Cause I made that mistake as I was younger. Like my parents really wanted me to get a college degree and I ended up getting them for them. Do I work in it? No.
Mm-hmm.
Do I use my college degree? No. I definitely do not. But that was about 5 years of my life that I'll never get back. And I appreciate it because it taught me a lot, but that's not the necessary route for everyone. And I want all younger girls to know that, like, you can come from anywhere, but you can get to where you want to be if you put in the effort and you put in the work.
That's awesome, Lilly. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Of course. This was great. Very nice. Super fun.